What is going on, everyone on the tubes internet? Just searching for something. Always scrolling, searching, typing, search bar, filling that what the hell? Let's start it off like this. I'm so tired. And I mean this. I'm so tired of trying to post content and just constantly battling age restrictions and content being removed and fucking like I just want to record videos, have fun, and post it and not have to worry about anything. You know what I mean? So this one is not, I'm not doing a review in this video. Sorry if that's boring to you. I just kind of want to talk. I did this like 2 weeks ago on my other channel, kind of like a mental health checkup. Man, and if this isn't your video, that's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. Sometimes I don't even feel like I have feelings anymore. But dude, this YouTube thing this is a big part of my life. It really is. As you see, I've put in a lot of work, a lot of time behind the scenes. Well, actually, I mean, the time behind the scenes, guys, like, I don't even think you can fathom how much work goes into communication with companies, working it. Like, these things just don't appear in my car. You know what I mean? And the consistency of the the content that I put out for you guys, that, like I said, this stuff doesn't magically appear. And I you know what I mean? So this takes a lot of work behind the scenes, and it's something I've always wanted to kind of dive in and tell you guys about, but at the same time, I don't think anyone would be interested. So what I can say is, man, I am just so fucking frustrated of having views throttled back so much, the channel kind of slowing to a halt. It doesn't bother me that much. It just bothers me when I'm trying to work with and be professional with companies, and it's just held back. But what I'm getting on here and kind of like wanting to talk about, dude, is like, man, I said this before on a couple months ago. I did a video about my mental health. I mean, I've just been going through so much behind the scenes. Some of these videos, and it takes a while. You know, when I upload stuff, I don't really go back and watch my stuff. Maybe every once in a while there'll be a couple comments that pop up, like someone will leave a timestamp and I'll go back and like watch it. But these videos, I really can't believe you guys like fuck with them. You know, not saying all of you guys, they're so sporadic and all over the place. And I want to tell you guys, like, I'm not sober half the time. I take medication for my own stuff. And during this entire process of me starting this channel has been a medication roller coaster ride. And it not even like with a physician and stuff, but like outside stuff, if you catch my drift. It's been me. I've struggled with so much substance abuse since literally high school, and it's just never ended. And it's so, we've had good spurts, but it's just so fucking exhausting. I don't know if anyone else has been there, and this is not condoning to do any of this stuff, but maybe someone else can relate. It's just so, it's so crazy. And here's the thing is, I felt like recording this right now because I'm not in a sad, bad mood, but I feel comfortable talking about it. And I think usually when I record these videos, I'm like super down and out. I'm just kind of like overviewing what's going on in a kind of mature manner right now. And it's just, fuck, dude, 35, almost 36, and I still, like, wife, kid, and I just still feel like I don't have a grasp on it. I remember when I was younger and I'd look up to someone older and stuff, and I would be like, man, they're such an adult. Like, I'm that adult now, and I don't feel like it at all. I don't. I just feel like I'm barely hanging on sometimes, emotionally, physically sometimes. Like, I've had so many issues, but I don't talk about these things. I'm a silly guy when I'm doing the videos. Is it a character that I portray? I would say it's not. I'm definitely an open, honest person. I don't fib. If I don't like something, I don't like it. You know, things are a little exaggerated sometimes, but I just get excited when I put the camera up there. You know, I like seeing comments of making someone laugh, but most of the time, like, I'm not happy internally at all, but I get some sense of joy or fulfillment knowing that I made someone else's day. That slowly, if I can get enough of that from people, like harvest it, sounds weird, harvest it, it somewhat fulfills this emptiness that maybe I have for myself, that I don't feel like I love myself. You know, I don't feel that I don't look at myself and say, hey man, great job, I love you. You know, I might have a couple good days here and there, but and it's really always been like that. I don't, yeah, my wife is awesome. I would love to have her on here and like you guys to meet her, and she's a little shy about her accent and stuff, but she's beautiful. I have a great family. I'd love to incorporate that somewhat on this, but it's just, no, I don't want to. It's just not the type of atmosphere I want them around. And you know, people can be so negative and hurtful. That's how it goes for all social media. So really, if you do it for a while, you kind of build tough skin with it. It doesn't really bother you. And plus, it's just, man, these people are just trolling. I'm super frustrated, man. Like, I have so much content recorded, ready to put out for you guys. But I just refuse to be posting shit like this and just having them dictate, you know, who the content gets shown to. You know, they want you to follow a guideline, and if you look at it, you know, shout out to Disorder Vapes and Liam's Ghost, we're following the guidelines, but they just still randomly determine on what videos they want to age restrict and show. And I'm not, that's so annoying. You know, we put in a lot of time and effort for this stuff. I know they do too, and we text back and forth all the time about different scenarios. But I mean, again, this isn't all about vaping. It's just kind of like it's kind of just comforting ground to kind of like have the vaping, you know, foundation to kind of base new relationships off of, you know, off the internet, if that makes sense. But I just really need to figure out how to find this is so real, how to find true happiness with myself sober. That's it. If I can, you know, I could be anywhere, man. It doesn't matter where you travel to or where you go and who you're with and how much money you have and how much this, that, and third. If you're just dealing with shit yourself, it doesn't matter where you're at. It might temporarily be okay, but fuck, I'm over it. I've been, you know, we had a lot of, I don't want to talk too much personal stuff, but I had some personal stuff happen back in August I'm a big procrastinator. And I ran into an issue back in August, and since then I've been trying to get some things straight and taken care of. But you know, I was never on medication until 2019, and in 2019 I was spiraling out of control. We had a moment where things were not looking good for me in September of 2019, and I had some immediate assistance and help. Everything shut down, put on hold. My whole life kind of came to a halt there. Didn't know, you know, at the time if I was going to make it through it. But that stint there was the longest sobriety stint that I had. And well, I really had to do that, or my marriage was in jeopardy, and so was everything else. So I kind of pieced some things together there for a while, you know, but it's just, I don't know if I have just terrible self-control, or I just always end up getting somehow involved with people that I shouldn't be around, you know, whether that be work people or this, that, and the third. But I just can't blame it on anybody else or the situations anymore. I have to take accountability, and I do, but in such a immature way. Like putting a band-aid on things. I just know, like, when am I just gonna fucking just say no forever and mean it? You know, like, vaping is so addicting too. That's just something that, you know, I don't even think about. It's just second nature. But you know, 2019 came around and I started getting put on medication. And I want to say this to anyone that's ever gone through this, because I know for a fact, even if my mom's watching right now, because she does watch my stuff sometimes, in August, I went and I talked to, kind of the first time I ever talked to a psychiatrist, and I sat there and I listed the type of medication. Shout out to moms if you're here. And my mom was sitting beside me because I wanted her to hear this, because it's different when you say it to somebody, but when you're in front of a professional and you're kind of listing this stuff. I just knew the amount of medications that they put me on during this COVID stint that was happening, because everything was virtual online, and they were just switching my medication so much and trying me on so many different types of SSRIs and, I don't give a fuck. I'll say it, like Seroquel, lithium, trazodone, fucking, Adderall, putting me on that stuff. They put me on Zyprexa for schizophrenia. They were putting me on fucking everything, and the dosages were changing. And then they had me on paroxetine and lamotrigine, and then all these different things were just being switched and adjusted. Wellbutrin and Zoloft and just everything within a span of like 3 years. The amount, my list of medications looked like it was a typo. And like, I don't want to blame that, but dude, I honestly, since then, I just don't fucking feel like I'm actually here sometimes. I feel so disconnected. And I know I had issues with substance and stuff before that, but like, it didn't feel the way it feels now. Like if I'm not taking my Adderall, like I don't have energy. I have no dopamine. I have nothing. I feel like a blob. But they put me on such a high dose of this stuff that it wasn't really requested by me, but as an addict, who's going to turn down being put on something, right? So I didn't turn anything down, but now, like, if I want to slowly start coming down off of this stuff, because I know I have ADHD, but sometimes you can give yourself ADHD if you take enough medication like this, and I just don't think it's necessary anymore. I'm just so scared that I don't know how to go through a day, or honestly, not just a day, but a couple hours, man, and just feel like I feel good. I feel this, that, and the third, I know I'm not as active when it comes to like getting in the gym. Maybe that could help and stuff, but man, I'm so tired. I'm tired of just trying to find clarity and relaxation and comfort in substances, And I'll even say this too. I don't care. It's not that I don't care, but they put me on Suboxone for a while, about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, after August, to try to help me with some of the things. And I became so deathly sick from taking this stuff. Like shout out to anyone else that if you've ever gone through this, when I tell you, and not all the reasons why I've lost weight, but if you could tell, like I've lost like 50 pounds. It fluctuates, but during this stint of first taking the Suboxone, like I have never thrown up so much in my life. I would probably say in a month span, 250 plus times. It was to the point where it was getting scary that I was going to die. And getting on to this medication, it was highly observed by doctors and stuff. It wasn't just like flung out by somebody. I had to go through a lot of therapy sessions and kind of, zone into some of the things that may be causing some of the issues. And this is the route that they thought would help. And if anything, I have never been through the scariest time ever. I actually, about three to 4 weeks ago, I don't even know if I want to call it a seizure or like I wouldn't say a stroke, but I was here at the house and out of nowhere, I woke up, and I kind of wanted to talk about this for a little while. I woke up out of my sleep at like 8 o'clock. I like passed out after I took the medicine, and I woke up and I was having a hard time breathing, and not just like a little bit. I know, have you ever been to that point where you feel like you forgot that your body knows how to breathe itself and you feel like you're manually breathing? Well, I got to this point where I got out, and luckily my wife was still awake, and I walked in the bedroom and I'm just like, hey, I can't take a deep breath. Like I'm feeling terrible. So my mind goes immediately to these things. Like my lung has collapsed, or, my mind always goes to the worst case scenario. But I walked downstairs, and to make a long story short, it didn't get better. Like I went outside and I started to get this tunnel vision thing. And I've always said before in the past, like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want this, that, and the third. Well, that moment felt like it was happening, and all I wanted to do was be here. So I want to say that, like, I think since that moment really showed me that I want nothing more to be here for my kid and my wife and stuff. But I started to tunnel vision out, and luckily she was down here and, caught me before I fell down and hit it. And I completely just went into like a grand mal. Not grand mal, but you should know what I'm talking about. And the ambulance came and everything. Like, I don't ever call. I've been, the hoops and hurdles I've gone through with anyways, health wise, I've never once called the ambulance or you know, suggested that they show up, and I did. I was like, I thought that was it. So they pulled up to the house, and my oxygen was super low. I don't know what happened. I don't know if that's what a panic attack is, like a true panic attack. And shout out to anyone that has ever had a panic attack. Shout out to Kayla. That's my girl. I remember people, this girl, shout out to Kayla. I've known her since high school. Two polar opposite people, but I've always fucked with her. I've always thought she was a kind person. I remember she had a panic attack in school one time back in high school, and I remember people were laughing at her and are just like saying something to her. And I looked at her. I remember the class I was in and where I was sitting, and I remember the teacher was like, "That's a panic attack," and I was like, "Damn, it's like that." I think if that's what that was, and that's what I was having, I don't know, but it showed me, it opened my eyes for the last couple of weeks that I do want to be here, you know, because for a long time I thought I didn't. I just need to figure out how to be here and how to do it happily, potentially sober. But sometimes I feel like I can't give you guys the content unless I'm somewhat jazzed up or you know, revved up or something, you know. One thing I can tell you that I also do is when I had my first channel, I would record nonstop. It didn't matter. If I had something, I would pull over and record it. Now, if I'm not feeling it and I don't want to give you guys any fake energy or anything, I don't record. So I don't really know where I'm going with this. I just felt like I was in a pretty clear mindset of how I was feeling and kind of addressing my mental health kind of in a calm state, you know, because most of the time I'm just a wreck, you know. But shout out to you if you're going through stuff like that. This isn't like a pity party thing, and but I'm a regular guy, man. I know this is vape content, and I don't steer off of that track. I always try to give you guys the content. I try to provide you with the newest and this, that, and the third, while also just not making it about vapes. But there's so many things I want to talk about, you know, off camera, things that happen and who I am. And I'm a very complex fella. I can see if you've made it this far, and I appreciate you just listening to me, because this is something I'd rather do more than once a year. If you're still here, man, like the video. This would be so cool to just have something other than vape content be watched, you know. And I'm just like, I don't know. I thought by 35 I would have things a lot more figured out, and even though it might look like it behind the scenes, it just still doesn't feel like it. And I have to get this shit under control. You know what I think? The reason why I wanted to record today is I had a great day with my daughter. Yeah, I really did. I had a great day with that little girl, man. And I'll tell you, what bothers me is there's a lot of times where I avoid her. I avoid her because I'm not doing well internally. This came out of nowhere. I'm not doing well with myself. So it might look like maybe to my wife or other people, somebody, that I'm running away or like I don't want to be there. To, you know, like it's easier to drive away or go upstairs, but it's not that. It's like sometimes I'm not even comfortable with the way that I feel. So I'd rather seclude and not affect anybody else but myself and try to get through it. And shout out to anyone else that maybe has ever felt that way, because I'm not a loner at all. But today I just kind of, I had a great day with her, and she's so awesome and so charismatic and just full of joy and energy and stuff. And I just have to figure out how to be a father figure and stuff, and do it honestly without substances. And when I say that, I don't mean like I'm fully intoxicated or endangering anybody. That's not, I don't want anyone to think of it like that. But I had a great day with her, and you know, it just makes me sad that some days, sometimes more than others, I'd rather just act like hide, because or just be by myself because I'm feeling so negative and my thoughts are just so brutal about myself that I don't want it to rub off on anyone else. So it's almost like it might look rude and disrespectful to others, but honestly, I'm trying to protect you. I'm trying to protect you from me, you know, and not in a physical way, but just by just this aura that's around me sometimes. So if you've ever felt that way, let me know. And I don't really know how to wrap this up or anything. I appreciate if you guys are here, honestly. And I just wanted to post a video and not see an age restriction pop up. And if it does, I'm going to be pissed. For what? What reason? You can't talk anymore? So mental health is real. I'm never a person that just talks about it or goes around and tries to preach about it. But fuck that. I'm so sick of it. And I've got to just pull through, and if you're going through it too as well, we can relate. I'll never know exactly what your feelings are and vice versa, but just know you're definitely not alone. Shout out.